Hello, welcome to Top 10 Mods for Fabric 1.16.4. So the first one is block meter. We're going to toggle it on with this grass block in hand, and it's going to say grass block is now used as your block meter. What this means is that if we wanted to draw a box, we could right click here, and we could right click there. If we wanted to draw a second box, so you can see we've drawn two boxes. The first one is white, the second one is orange, and it's going to continue along going through the wall colors. There's different ways to change that though. We could change, first of all, we could actually change the color of the box, and we also have the option to have a diagonal line, and if it's always going to use one color, not cycle through the colors. So for instance, if we turned on the diagonal line, you can see we're also going to get the distance from the opposite points. Now, if we wanted to remove a box, we could press Shift and the hotkey. That will clear the last box. If we press Control on the hotkey, it's going to clear all the boxes that you've drawn up to that point. And you can see as we draw a box, we can draw it any scale we want. Similarly, if I have this grass block, we could also draw the box like that. However, if I was holding any other block, it will just place the block normally. So any grass block in the inventory will allow us to access the functionality of the block meter. Now, should we decide that one of the points is not exactly where we want it, we can go to one of the corner spots here. So here's a corner spot, and then we can sneak, and then we can right click. And what this will do is it will allow us to change that. And then we can place it down again. And then we can delete. Okay, you may notice my crosshair is kind of different, and that's because I'm using the custom crosshair mod. So we can change the style of the crosshair from the default all the way through to a triangle, stick with this cross, and we can also make it absolutely massive. So you can change the width and the height independently. So you can see that's a pretty large crosshair there. And there's quite a bit more you can do. So for instance, we could go to the rainbow, we could enable the rainbow, and we can make it go fast. So now we have a fast-moving rainbow crosshair. So we can change the size of the gap between the points of the crosshair here, and we can also change the overall thickness. We can also rotate the crosshair all the way, change the outline color. You can also put a dot in the middle of the crosshair there. You can also see when we move to get a sword here, we swing the sword, you can see it's going to show you the cooldown in a more visual way. And it's also going to show you how long it's going to take for you to be able to shoot an arrow. Let's take a look at the crossbow. So pretty useful that, actually. Okay, now we have a mod called Ancient Gateways. So here's a very simple setup of the gateway. It's a 7x7 hollow structure. You need to have a 5x5 empty space in the middle. You'll specify the address of the gateway with 6 glyphs like this. So this could be green, 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 green. And then we would type in the address over here to say which gateway that we want to go to. Initially, when you set up, you're going to want to set it up like this. So if you have green, 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 and green, you're going to want to do that here just to initiate the gateway. What you need to do is if you want to actually initiate transport, this one I created second. So this gateway is going to close in a few seconds. So to initiate the transport though, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to, you notice that one then turned on. But it appears if you wanted to go from the first gateway to the second gateway, there's no way to do that. You can only go from the second to the first. So we just show you here another example. We put the here on the front here. Now we know it's the front because this is the front. And then we can simply go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, it actually looks like maybe it doesn't want it there. Okay, so we can set that up. So let's have a look at the cross-dimensional transport. So I've been working in this area. This is actually an area from a mod called Lakeside. And this adds a variety of different lakes, including this, which is a jungle lake. And you may have noticed a huge amount of stuff in here, loads of tropical fish in there. And I thought we'd just quickly go through the various biomes that we've got. So, number one is a cold lake. So it just gives a slightly different, you don't normally see an island like this in a tiger-esque biome. The forest island, and there's a lot of water to work with. I guess the tropical fish spawn was that we don't normally see that. I don't know if in normal jungle lakes you see that. So there's a combination of the islands and the lakes. This is the forest island and this is the warm lake. If I look where the nearest warm lake is, you'll see it's right here. And here's a little bit more of the actual jungle island. It definitely changes the terrain quite dramatically of the jungle, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because the jungle is quite hard to traverse anyway. And finally, we've got the mountain lake. There's certainly more of these like jutted islands sticking out that you don't normally see in normal terrain. And like, for instance, an island like this. Yeah, and here's an example of a tiger island. Next up, we've got a mod called AdventureZ. So in thunderstorms, you may find a mob called the Summoner will spawn. And he's going to summon these skeleton vanguards. And he's also going to drop, as you can see there, an enchanted book. The next two mobs are going to spawn in nether fortresses. So here you can see Withered Necromancer. So he's also going to drop an enchanted book. And also you can see we're going to get gold nuggets as well. Here's the Blaze Guardian. Very similar to a blaze, but obviously it's got a little face there. You see when you kill the necromancer there, all the wither puppets will actually be killed as well. So in the Soul Sand Valley you will find this Soul Reaper. So he has 60 health. Not sure if he has any particular special attacks. He's quite fast. You can see we're going to get a wither head and coal and bones and a netherite sword as well. There's also this rare drop called the Gilded Blackstone Shard, and with it you can actually make a large boss. So let's do that. So we're going to do this fill command. So if we wanted to get 81 blocks, you need to do one less than the square, right? So 1 less than 9 is 8. So that will give you 9, right? And you can put some blackstone in there to get some chiseled, polished blackstone. And if you put it back into the stone cutter, you'll be able to get this block, which is the chiseled, polished blackstone holder. And then with your blackstone holders, you can just put them in here. And then we're going to put some of these gilded shards in here. And there we go. It doesn't matter, you don't have to fight together. It's going to destroy a lot of blocks. Wow. It also has different colours. Oh, he makes little ones as well. See, lots of wow, lots of stuff you get from him. So we take a look at our inventory. I'll try and tell you the stuff I didn't have in here. Certainly some more. The Blackstone Golem Heart I certainly didn't have. Some scraps. Ancient debris, of course. Yep, the Golem Heart. When you have it in your inventory, it makes a noise. And you can use that to make the Blackstone's arm. So we have a sheep, for example. Charge up the arm. Okay, so it does do a certain amount of damage. We also have the Piglin Beast. When you're mining nether gold, the Piglin Beast might spawn. So we get some gold there. So these two are not listed, so we're going to see what these do. This is the eye. Oh, what's this? They actually... Oh, can you actually... So he just send Ender Eyes to fight for him. You probably don't want to... So I guess he died and laid a dragon egg. And we also get this, which is the Prime Eye. Doesn't seem to do anything. It's probably just been added recently. So occasionally the Piglin Beast is actually going to drop the Piglin flag and will calm attacking piglins in an area. I also forgot to mention the armor. So you're going to need gilded netherite, and you'll be able to get fire resistance recharge. So you can see we can activate the fire resistance there. We also have the Void Shadow. Doesn't seem to do much at the moment. It's probably the AI has not come in quite yet. And let's see the 0. Yeah, it looks like it's very just been added. And Nightmare, finally, that is actually just the horse that the Soul Reaper comes in on. So it's just got some Soulfire particles, and you can ride the horse as well. The next mod I want to look at is a mod called Requiem. This mod is a mod that replaces the death system in Minecraft. So what we're going to do with this is, you can see I've got a little setup here. So to begin with it, you have to press /kill. And it says, you hear a voice talking to you. Essentially, in this, you can choose between normal spawning, if you do, I do not want anything to do with this. You can change that as well, which I'll show you in a moment. And we can also just, but we're going to do the make me a demon already. And we'll confirm. So you see what will happen is you'll go into this sort of demon mode, right? And you've actually got creative flight. The way to actually be able to do anything is you have to inhabit other creatures. So for instance, what you have to do is you have to inhabit the undead. So if we right click on the zombie, you'll see I become, and now I can actually access, because I can't actually do anything apart from fly. Once you've inhabited, you can't access any of the other creatures. So we're going to try this a few different times. So the way to get out of it from this point is we need to do weakness. Okay, and you can see there we changed back and we've got nausea. Okay, so if we do another /kill again here, you can see we're going to be a demon again. And what I was going to show you with the sheep here is that if we try to go into a creature that isn't undead, it simply won't work. Now there is actually one more thing which is to point out here, that you can actually toggle between the two different modes. So to do that, you can see, this is a debug one. You can eat human flesh. We've got the Opus Daimonium. So if we take a look at this, so it's going to require paper, phantom membrane, black dye. Alright, so you can see in the little tooltip there, you've got ad vitam aeternum, ad vitam mortale. So let's try the first one. Let's try this one actually, because I've already written it down. Ad vitam mortale. And we can see that this now has become a cure book. So that is the curse book. So now, at the moment, of course, when we die, we're going to be respawning as a demon. So if I wanted to change that, now you're going to see when I die, we've got normal respawn as a human. And similarly, if we die as a demon, we now respawn as a demon. Now we have a mod called Common Expansion Foodstuff. It adds a few different foods. So you can see we're going to have some lettuce and tomatoes. The tomatoes here on the outside, actually kind of cool how the tomatoes are yellow first and then red, because that's what happens in real life. And here you can see the lettuce. You can also put milk into a cauldron and turn to cheese. So you can use 9 sugar to turn to a marshmallow. And then you can put that into marshmallow on a stick. Toasty marshmallow on a stick. Golden marshmallow on a stick. So yeah, on the wiki it says that you can put 3 different food items into a sandwich. I've not found that there's any recipe for sandwiches or the tea bag. And also, somehow the tea bag turns into the tea bottle. It feels like there should be another slot in the kettle with the tea bag and a bottle of water. So maybe this UI is not done yet. And beyond that we can make chocolate with milk bottles and cocoa beans and sugar. And we also have the chouquette, which is sugar and wheat and milk. And salad uses the lettuce and tomato and cheese. And mashed potatoes as well. So we have a cheese wheel. So the kettle is made with just iron. And the cheese wheel you can actually place down in the world. Also a couple of pies here as well. The sweet berry pie, the apple pie. Sweet, sour, salty, bitter, umami, shining, gloopy. So we'll go for sweet. Gets you fulfillment. Sour. Poison resistance. Salty gets you God. And bitter gets you foresight. Some interesting things here, and then finally we're going to have Umami Shining and Gloopy. Umami is resistance, and then glowing. So Gloopy just gets you a one-off teleportation. Okay. Another mod to briefly look at in the food category is this mod called Crafty Cuisine. And this mod is like a Vanilla Plus extension to some of the foods that are already in the game. So we can cook a carrot into a roasted carrot. Can cook an egg into a fried egg. Fried turtle egg. Is that something? Is that a thing? Well, I suppose it is. I mean, they make eggs. Apple pie. But don't know about that one. So apple pie is we've got apple, sugar and egg. Chocolate pie. Melon pie. Sweet berry pie. And shepherd's pie with mutton and carrot. Let's make some jam. Sweet berry bread. Honey bread. Candied apple. Candied melon slice. Sushi. Sugar cookie. Pumpkin cookie. Cooked spider eye. Chocolate pudding. Cactus soup. Bacon. And also cooked bacon. So yeah, it's just a few cool little extras to the vanilla food system. Okay, we've got this mod as well called Direbats. So it's a large bat here, as you can see. Just have a little look here. It doesn't aggro that easily. But you'll notice when you kill the bat, you're going to get these Direbat fangs. And they can be turned into Direbat fang arrows. So as you might imagine, because the Direbat inflicts blindness, so will the arrows. Also, you can see we've got some Direbats around here. So we're just going to quickly die here. So you can see that the Direbats have actually picked up the items there. And then if you then kill the Direbat, you'll then retrieve the items. Okay, the final mod I'm going to talk about is a mod called Origins. There is also, by the way, an extension mod to this called Extra Origins. I haven't got that installed. But what this mod does is at the beginning of the game, when you're creating the world, it gives you the opportunity to completely change basic mechanics of the world. So here's the first one, which is Avian. Avian race lost their ability to fly a long time ago. So you can see we're going to get a bunch of different features that will change your gameplay. So you're going to fall gently to the ground. When sleeping, your bed needs to be an altitude at least 86. You're a little quicker on foot, and you can't digest any meat. So you can see you've got slow fall when you're running around. It says you need fresh air to sleep. So that's obviously if I went to 86, it would let me do that. All right, so if we try and eat steak now, it simply doesn't let you do it. Okay, next one is Arachnid, so climbing abilities. So it says you're able to climb up any kind of wall, not just ladders. When you hit an enemy in melee, they get stuck in cobwebs. Diet is restricted to meat. So you can see we've only got 7 hearts. And your enemy's going to get stuck in a cobweb. So we try and eat a vegetable type item, like pumpkin cookie. We cannot eat that. Let's see what happens if we eat rotten flesh. Okay, this does still give us poison. You can only eat meat. All right, now we have a Elytrian. I guess it's Elytrian, isn't it? Because it's Elytra. So you can see you have Elytra wings without needing to equip. Every 30 seconds you're able to launch about 20 blocks up into the air. You deal more damage when in Elytra flight. You could not wear any heavy armor. Wow. Being somewhere with a low ceiling for too long will weaken you and make you slower. Take more damage from falling and flying into blocks. Let's take a look at the fall damage quickly. Oh wow, yeah, from 10 blocks that is quite a lot of damage. But you can see when we run along, you have an interesting effect where you're going to... It's like you have that constant slow fall effect. Let's try a little bit of Elytra flying then. Alright, now we have Shulk, which is related to... By the way, there's these 3 impacts as well. Got low, medium and high. So related to Shulkers, so 9 slots in the inventory. You've got armor without protection. You're strong enough to break natural stones without using a pickaxe. You can't use a shield. And you hunger more quickly. That one looks actually pretty good. Let's take a look at the stone breaking then. Okay, it's not bad, stone breaking. This is actually kind of like what I would like the stone breaking speed to be anyway. You can equip the shield, but it just doesn't do anything. We could also check if we fight a zombie just to see like what the hunger differences. You can also see that even without armor, we're not actually taking anywhere near as much damage as we would normally. Like you wouldn't get the amount of hits I just took there from that zombie would be fatal. But yeah, you can see the hunger really does drop really fast. So feline, this is the first of the medium impact. With their cat-like appearance, the feline scare creepers away. With the dexterity of cats, they always land safely. Never take full damage. Okay. You can jump higher. 1 less heart. That's an interesting one. While not under the effect of a strength potion, you can only mine natural stone. There are at most 2 other natural stone blocks adjacent to it. Kind of interesting that. The fact that there is actually a way out as well with the strength potion, that's always something that you're looking for, right? It's got a lot. Creepers are scared. And you can see in the dark when not in water. That's funny, isn't it? It's probably worth... They're really not going to explode at all. This is like such an unusual way of thinking about things. See, we've got 9. You can see that there's the jump height as well. So the jump height is actually pretty good. So if I wanted to mine a section like this, I couldn't mine these 2 blocks here. It'd have to be that. And then I'd be able to do that. And then if we take this, no problem. Yeah, and obviously with the cats, you're not going to take full damage. So next up is Enderian. So teleportation. So we can choose, we can throw an Ender Pearl. Damage over time in water and afraid of pumpkins and far reach. Okay, so you do have an active power button in this mod, and that is default of G. So we can see there was actually an Enderman right there, which is doesn't look like there's much cooldown on that. So the reach, a good 2-3 blocks higher. Okay, I'm not sure about the pumpkin situation, but I did actually just notice there is this thing called the Orb of Origin. It looks like a creative-only item. So I should then be able to just change my way. So yeah, we can actually switch then. We're using the Orb of Origin to the various different ones. So Merlin, you can breathe underwater, not on land. Vision underwater is perfect. You can break blocks underneath it. Okay, so I should be taking damage over water. Yeah, you can see I'm losing. I mean, how are you going to play like that? I don't know. Yeah, you definitely see. Yeah, you can see we've got aqua affinity as well. Now, interesting actually. Yeah, the swimming is unbelievably good because you're staying at the same Y level. Blazeborn, immune to fire damage. Your natural spawn is in the Nether. You're immune to poison. Then. Oh wow, yeah, you take a lot of damage from water. Oh, look at that. When I respawned after death, I was literally in the Nether immediately. Just go straight into this lava here. Phantom. Translucent skin. You can walk through solid material when phantomized. So that's, again, it's an active power. So you can see it as a phantom. I tried wearing armor because it's interesting, obviously, but the armor does render. But you can see, let's try to walk through some solid material. Now, another thing to mention is because I'm phantomized, if I actually lose that translucency, because I'm an undead, I burn in the daylight. Walking through blocks is kind of an interesting one. It kind of actually does work though. You're going through the side of the block. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you just don't put a hitbox on the side of the block, but only on the top face, that's like always going to work. Oh wait, look at my hunger. Okay, that's actually it. So yeah, anyway, that's actually the end of the video. So until next time, thanks for watching.